What's up guys, hope you are doing well. The weather turned out to be really good today, so I stepped out to try and do a time lapse. So let's see how it goes, and after that I will teach you how it's done. Cheers! So first of all, what does a time lapse actually mean? A time lapse is taking a sequence of photographs at a set interval of event happening over time, and then playing these frames back at normal speed so that you can view the event happening much faster. So it's really easy to do, not that hard, and there are many techniques to get it done, but I will be teaching you one of the techniques. So first let's get home, as the street behind is filled with vehicles and it's really noisy and it's spoiling the audio. So let's get home. Okay guys, I'm home, and now that you know what a time lapse means, let's start shooting. Gear wise, you don't need much. You just need three things: a sturdy tripod to set your camera firmly to the ground to prevent it from moving in between shots, because if it moves in between shots it would totally ruin your time lapse. The second thing is of course a camera, preferably a DSLR with a wide angle lens, and the third and final thing is the intervalometer. Most of the modern cameras have the intervalometer inbuilt, but some of them do not. So if your camera does not have an intervalometer, you will have to buy one. It's available online on Amazon and eBay, so you do not have to go to a expensive model. A cheap one will do the same thing, so it doesn't really matter. So that's all you need for gear, and then you will need to know two things before you can start shooting. First is the interval, and second is the number of frames that you need to shoot. So let's talk about the interval. The interval is the time in which between two photographs, as I explained earlier. So this really depends upon the type of time lapse that you are hoping to capture. For example, let's say it's something that's happening really fast and there are lots of things happening in it. For example, people moving down a busy street. So if there's a bigger gap between your photographs, then there will be details lost. So then your time lapse would be incomplete. So for stuff that has lots of things happening and also which happens over a shorter period of time, you need a lesser interval, maybe around 2 seconds or 3 seconds. But let's say you are going to capture something that's taking ages, like hours, and there's really nothing much happening there. For example, piling up of your snow in your garden. So there's nothing happening except the piling up of snow, and also it takes ages for a really good amount to pile up. So there's actually no need for you to take a lot of photos in a shorter time, because it takes a longer time to happen. So as there is no risk of losing any of the details that's happening, you can choose a longer time, such as around 10 seconds. So it really depends upon the type of time lapse that you take. So once you decide an interval for your time lapse, the next thing that you need to know is the number of frames that you need to capture. First you should know that 25 frames equals to 1 second of video. So for a 10-second time lapse you will require 250 photographs. So it's really easy to calculate. You have to just multiply 25 by the number of seconds that you are hoping to capture your time lapse. So once you know these two things and you have all the gear, you are good to go. What you should do is set up your tripod where you want to shoot and make sure your camera does not move. And once you're done that, you can change your settings and exposure levels and everything to what you need if you are shooting in manual mode, and then you will have to turn on the intervalometer. The turning on the intervalometer process differs from camera model to camera model. So the best thing to do is type in your camera model and Google on how to turn your intervalometer on. So once you turn your intervalometer on, the camera will start shooting. In the intervalometer you can set up the interval and the number of frames that you require. So then once you reach your frame limit, your camera will stop the process of shooting. So once that's done, the shooting part of your time lapse is over. Next is the processing part, for which you will require Adobe Lightroom and Adobe Premiere Pro. So let's jump into the computer and I will explain how it's done. Okay, so we successfully jumped into the computer. Let's start editing. So first of all, boot up Lightroom. I've already done that. And import your photos in. I've already done that too because it takes ages. I have like 400 photos here. So yeah, it will take ages. So if you want to know how it's imported, you can click on the library tab right here and click on import from here. Once you click on import, a window like this will pop up, so you can select where your photographs are from here. As I've already imported, I'm not going to do any of it, so we can get going. So once you've imported the photographs, go to your develop module and you will see your photographs below like this in order. So from here you can tweak the photographs and get on with the exporting part. So you can edit the exposure, contrast, highlights and everything from here. First you can edit your first photograph and then you can apply the same settings onto the rest, because this is not a day to night time lapse, so I don't have to edit it in sets. The edit depends upon your frames and also your taste, so you don't have to copy me or anything. You can do it in the way you prefer, the way it looks good. So this looks good enough to me. So once the first photograph is done, you can press Ctrl A, which would select all the photographs, and then click on sync and then click on synchronize. So you can see that all the photographs have the same settings pasted onto it. So your tweaking of the colors part is done now, and you can start exporting these photographs. So what you should do is click on the first photo, press Ctrl A to reselect all the photographs, right click and click on export right here. And you can click on export and this window will pop up. So when you are importing this into Premiere Pro later on, you will import it as a sequence. I will explain what it means later, but for the sequence to be proper, your photographs will be numbered in order. So in order to do that, you have to click on rename in file naming right here, and then you can expand this tab and click on custom name sequence right here. So once you click on that, you can enter any name you want. Let's put dope time lapse. Yep. And then you can put the start number as 1 and you're good to go. So from here you can select the folder you want to export the photos to. So let's go to desktop and time-lapse vehicles. Yep, and click on select folder. So once you've done that and you've done the file naming part, you can click on export right here. You are actually exporting 405 photos here, but depending on your time lapse, it could be more or less. So it will take ages. So let's skip that and let's see how we can edit it in Premiere Pro. Okay guys, so once you open up Premiere Pro and open a new project, you can start to import your files. You do not have to import them as you usually do. There's a different method as we have to import them in a sequence. So click on import right here, and then you have to select the folder in which your time-lapse photographs will be. So my photographs are available here. So once you are there, click on the first photograph and make sure image sequence is ticked right here. What it does is, rather than importing all the photographs separately, it combines them together as one clip. So it basically makes it into a time lapse. So once that's ticked, you can click on open. As you can see here, all the photographs are put in as one clip, so you can drag it onto the timeline. Okay, so basically your time lapse is made, but you can do your adjustments here. For example, if you need to change the speed of the time lapse, you can click on this clip here, then right click, and you can click on speed and duration right here. So from here you can increase the time, maybe 150 times or 200, whatever. So I will stick with the usual normal speed as it looks good for me. So once that's done, you can either save your time lapse here, or you can add more effects. For example, if you go onto the effects controls right here, you can see many different things you can do to your clip. So I'm going to add a zoom out effect as the time lapse goes on. So this is how it's done. Make sure your slider is right at the very beginning of your clip, and click on this little stopwatch like icon of scale. Make sure it's in the motion tab. Click on it and then change this value to whatever you want. It depends on your time lapse. As it increases, the zoom increases. So I would like to go with around 150 and click enter. So once you have done that, you can drag your slider right to the very end of your clip right here, and then click on this little circle button right here. So once you click on it, you can change the value back to 100 and click enter. What happened there was like, so at the beginning of the clip, it was like turning on a small stopwatch. So from here it's zoomed in, and as you go towards the end, it's zoomed out. So it looks good when the time lapse is done. So once this part is completed, you can export the time lapse from here. You click on file, click on export, and click on media. So once this comes up, you can choose where you want to save the file and the name you want it, and also the settings from here. And once that's done, you can click on export right here. It will take some time depending on the speed of your computer. So I already exported it for you, and you can see the image, the time lapse right here. Okay guys, so that's basically how you shoot and edit a time lapse. As I showed you, it's not that hard, it's super easy. If you are feeling hard with the edit, try it a few times and ultimately you will get used to it. So grab your gear, go to a good location, start shooting and editing, and let's see how it goes. So that's it for today guys, hope you enjoyed the video. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and also feel free to include any questions in the comments section below. So see you on my next video. Peace out.